Another day, another high-profile murder case. The incident we are talking about today happened in southern Indian state of Karnataka. A popular actor known for his macho, larger-than-life action hero roles on screen was arrested on 11th June for the murder of one of his fans. Actor Darshan Thoogudeepa, popularly known as D-Boss, is accused of being involved in the death of a man named RenukaSwamy for sending derogatory messages and lewd pictures to Darshan's longtime female friend Pavitra Gouda. Victim RenukaSwamy's body was discovered on June 9th in a ditch in an area called Sumanahalli Bridge in Bengaluru, Karnataka. Before we get into the case, I feel a little background information is necessary for those who have never heard about this actor or the industry he belongs to. If you know anything about Indian entertainment industry, you have likely heard about Bollywood. Though it is one of the biggest film fraternities from India, it's not the only one. In India, almost every major language and region has its own film and television industry. For example, Malayalam, Telugu, Tamil and Kannada are the four most dominant film fraternities from the southern part of India, and they have their own distinct style of filmmaking and storytelling. Darshan is a prominent member of the Kannada film industry. He comes from a film family. His father, Darshan Thoogudeepa, was a famous yesteryears actor who mostly played supporting or main antagonist characters. Supporting characters, even the main ones, did not pay much in those days. So, Darshan and his two younger siblings grew up in near poverty for most of their childhood and adolescence years. After his father's death, Darshan's mother had to struggle to make ends meet and raise 3 children by herself. So he was not handed his film career on a platter. In fact, his is more of a rags to riches story. He started working at a young age, out of necessity more than anything else. He worked in stage plays as well as television soaps before getting his big break on the silver screen. After his debut movie became a super hit, he quickly went on to become one of Kannada film industry's bankable stars. Unlike his father, he was lucky enough to gain both money and public admiration in spades. It is unfortunate that somewhere along the way, he forgot his humble beginnings. When it comes to the kind of films he is usually part of, I will admit they're not to everyone's taste. These movies are made to showcase the main lead as a godlike figure who could do no wrong, who can beat up several men at once with his bare hands. Every situation is specially designed to show him as this superhuman who is loved and worshipped by everyone around him. The target audience for these kind of movies is mostly men. They see a person on screen saying and doing things they want to but cannot in real life and idolize him so much that the line between what is unreal and what is real is blurred to the point of obscurity. Their obsession is nothing short of madness. One wrong word against their hero and they are ready to raise the riot and burn everything in sight for the perceived injustice or wrong done to him or to his reputation. I'm sure most of you watching this video can understand this kind of madness. I'm giving you all this background information because to understand what actually transpired in this case, it is important we understand what kind of a mindset this actor and his followers were coming from, to what length they were willing to go to show the star their loyalty. Now, 17 people, including the actor himself, are in custody, and several families have lost their sons and with that, their only source of income. Like most things these days, catalyst to this murder was an Instagram post. A couple of months back, Darshan's female friend Pavitra Gouda did a post on Instagram where she waxed lyrical about her 10-year relationship with the actor. It included a lengthy post and some lovey-dovey pictures of them as a couple. You might think, why is that a problem? Isn't it normal these days to post about one's relationship status or anniversaries on social media? Well, it is. Except in this case, Darshan is married and shares a son with someone else. His legal wife, Vijayalakshmi, is also quite active on Instagram. And it is safe to say she did not appreciate another woman staking a claim on her husband of 24 years for all the world to see. Not to be upstaged and humiliated by her husband's special friend, Vijayalakshmi then posted some old pictures of Pavitra Gouda with her ex-husband and their daughter, making it clear that Pavitra Gouda's daughter was from her ex-husband and she is not related to Darshan in any way. There was some speculation as to whether Pavitra's child was Darshan's daughter or not. This did not go down well with the other woman, and she clapped back with a post of her own, warning Darshan's wife Vijayalakshmi of legal repercussions for sharing her personal photos with her ex on social media without permission. Yes, these are two grown women fighting for a man who is two-timing them both. Initially, he did not confirm or deny his extramarital activities. But later, when questioned about the same in a movie promotional event, his answer was beyond disgusting. Instead of ignoring the question and moving on if he was not prepared to answer, this 47-year-old man chose to say that he doesn't care about any woman. Not taking names, but he made it look like he was talking about women in general. It's hard to literally translate everything he said in English. But the gist of it is, he made a gesture as if to say he spits on them, meaning these two ladies who are fighting over him, and went on to say he doesn't care about some woman, whether she stays with him or not. He only cares about pleasing his fans. In light of what happened to one of his fans, that is not saying much at all. As expected, most of his fans hollered and cheered him for his response. What an exemplary example of manhood. After the social media war between the wife and the other woman, some of his fans were divided in their opinion. Some were dead against this relationship, whereas some others supported him no matter what. For them, if she made him happy, they would tolerate Pavitra Gouda's presence in his life no matter how morally wrong it was. After this incident, Pavitra Gouda became a fair game for the online trolls, mostly creepy men. And one such man was our unfortunate victim. RenukaSwamy allegedly did not appreciate that Pavitra Gouda, by being involved with married Darshan, was maligning his demigod image. She was a black mark against his character. So he took it upon himself to DM some derogatory messages to Pavitra. Initially, she ignored, deleted, and blocked him as one would. But according to her, that did not deter him. He made new accounts and continued to send more creepy messages, and this time added pictures of his private parts as a bonus. Feeling harassed, Pavitra went to Darshan for help. From there on, our dear D-boss took over. He contacted the members of his D-gang and ordered them to find out more about the Instagram account. It did not take them long to figure out that the account belonged to RenukaSwamy, who was from Chitradurga, a city some 200 kilometers north of Bengaluru. Darshan has a big fan base in Chitradurga, and their president, a man named Raghavendra, coordinated to contact RenukaSwamy. 33-year-old RenukaSwamy is the eldest of two children. His father is a retired Bescom employee. Bescom is an electronic supply company. RenukaSwamy himself worked in a pharmacy in Apollo Hospital. On the morning of 8th June, he left home for work as he usually did. At some point during that day, he was contacted by Raghavendra and was told some of them from Chitradurga were going to meet Darshan. He was invited to go with them too if he liked. Like any fan would, RenukaSwamy jumped at the chance to see his idol and was happy to join them. He of course had no clue what was to come or what his idol was capable of. He thought he was going for a meet and greet. He even called his father to let them know he was going away to Bengaluru and would be back later that night. He told them not to worry in case he was late coming back. That was the last time they heard from him. First leg of this 200-kilometer journey was in an auto rickshaw. As more people joined, they moved on to a car. Both auto and car drivers are part of Darshan fan club from Chitradurga and were in on the plan. They drove him to an abandoned shed owned by Darshan's uncle and managed by his cousin. It is in an area called Pattanagere. This place is centrally located, at the same time quite secluded, as in there is little to no chance of anyone walking in uninvited to spoil the plan. This shed is used to store old vehicles seized by banks due to unpaid EMIs. They keep RenukaSwamy here in wait for Darshan's arrival. Sometime later, Darshan arrives in a red Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. Then several hours later, Darshan's car leaves the building, followed by a dark grey Scorpio. Everything is clearly visible on the CCTV camera installed near the shed. A day later, RenukaSwamy's tortured, mutilated body was discovered in a ditch by a security guard who worked in a nearby apartment complex in Sumanahalli. If you're not from the area, these location names make little to no sense. So just understand that they had moved the body from the shed to a random location to eliminate any connection to the actor. A few hours after the discovery of the body, 4 people, Raghavendra, Karthik, Nikhil and Keshav, surrendered themselves to the police, admitting to killing RenukaSwamy over a financial dispute. When police started their investigation, they had no idea where the case would take them. But they had their suspicions about the statements of these 4 individuals. Their story did not add up. When they went deep into the background of the victim, it was clear, while not rich, RenukaSwamy and his family did not have any money troubles. They were a family of modest means and lived within their limits. He earned his salary from the pharmacy. Combined with his father's pension, they managed quite well. So the story of him borrowing money did not make any sense. Investigators felt that they were being led on by these men, so they decided to question each individual separately to see if their stories added up. As soon as they were separated, each one of them folded under pressure and came up with completely different accounts of what had happened the previous day. In addition to that, their call records showed they were in constant touch with the actor 24 hours before they had surrendered. Police thought that was strange. How did 4 seemingly ordinary men have actor Darshan's contact on their phone? Strangely, the vehicle they had arrived to the station was the same grey Scorpio that was seen on the CCTV at the location where the murder happened. Initially, investigators did not know this, but this evidence came to light at a later date. Both the vehicles involved in the murder do not belong to Darshan himself, but they belong to people close to him. This could be a technicality they can use in court during trial. Ironically, until these 4 men came to surrender themselves for the murder, police had no clue about the victim's identity. Once they got enough information from the 4 men in custody, it was pretty straightforward from there to get access to the CCTV footages. As luck would have it, entry and exit to the location was in perfect view of the CCTV present at the location. Maybe the owners had installed it not catch any thieves or squatters who frequented the area. The car Darshan was driving was pretty easy to spot with its license plate on display. From here on, the story that unfolded shocked even the seasoned police officers working on this case. When Darshan first contacted his aide from Chitradurga fan club and ordered them to quote-unquote pick up RenukaSwamy, no one involved, including the actor himself, knew what was to come or how far things would escalate. Once RenukaSwamy was brought to the shed, he was tied up and they waited for Darshan and Pavitra Gouda to arrive. From here on, who did what is all a hearsay. When Pavitra entered the shed, RenukaSwamy, who was now aware that he was here to apologize to her for the messages, fell to her feet and started to apologize profusely. He was so overcome with remorse and fear that he accidentally touched her feet. Allegedly, this enraged Darshan so much that he kicked RenukaSwamy in the chest and he fell backward. Not to be left out of the punishment party, Pavitra allegedly took off the sandals she was wearing and slapped RenukaSwamy in the face multiple times. This initiated prolonged beating and torture that resulted in RenukaSwamy having multiple fractures. Allegedly, he was kicked and beaten with sticks and rods. One of Darshan's close aides, named Raju, who was part of the torture session, has allegedly confessed that whenever RenukaSwamy lost consciousness, they would give him electric shock using a mega device and bring him back to consciousness so they could beat him again. At the time of his arrest, Raju was in possession of this mega device used to torture the victim. Autopsy reports have also confirmed that RenukaSwamy sustained multiple burns from this device. At one point, they stopped beating him and offered him some food. When the food was brought to him, because he was still tied up, RenukaSwamy told them that he was a vegetarian for religious reasons. When he said that, allegedly, the actor picked up a piece of meat and forced the victim to swallow it. If you see the pictures, victim RenukaSwamy is a slight man, both in stature and build, and Darshan is exactly the opposite. He stands over 6 feet and is built like a truck. I do not know how the victim stayed alive after the first few blows. It's a miracle. Now they're also saying that at the time of this assault, Darshan was blind drunk. There are 2 different accounts of what might have happened next. In the first account, they say after beating and torturing him for some time, Darshan told RenukaSwamy to remember this lesson and never to repeat his actions again, and left the shed with Pavitra. But in the other account, they say that he was very much present when the death happened. I'm not sure which side is telling the truth. We also don't know what instruction was given to his aides, or should we say fan club members. I cannot say with any certainty whether what came next was what the actor instructed them to do, or if it was purely their decision to avenge their hero and his lady love. The remaining members of Darshan fan club took over from where the actor had left off. They continued to beat and torture RenukaSwamy further. The fatal blow came when he was thrown against an old truck which was parked in the shed. That resulted in a blow to his head which caused severe hemorrhaging that killed him. When his body was found the next day, his blood-soaked clothes were changed, allegedly to hide extensive torture he was put through. That amount of blood would have been harder to explain away. In addition to that, his throat was slit, there was a cut to his nose, and his battered body thrown away like garbage. When they found him, he was partially in the ditch, and several dogs were eating his flesh. When Darshan found out that RenukaSwamy had died, he was so enraged, and in his rage, he assaulted Pavitra Gouda as he felt that he was now in this trouble because of her. She had to be admitted to hospital after the assault and stayed there overnight. Again, these are all allegations as of now. None of them have been proven yet. Once he realized that RenukaSwamy had actually died, in a panic, Darshan asked some of his aides to take the blame for the murder. For their troubles, he offered them money and legal advice. Some of his aides, especially the ones who had not participated in the incident but were witnesses to what was taking place, declined. As we already know, 4 of them agreed to offer themselves to the police, provided their families are compensated and they get legal representation on Darshan's cost. Police sources claim that there is also evidence of some of them going to a nearby store to purchase clean clothes after the murder, as the ones they were wearing were soaked in RenukaSwamy's blood. I'm not sure what happened after that. Some reports say they actually got changed in the changing room of that store. Some others say they changed in the actor's home. Police are still looking for these clothes. 30 lakh rupees have now been recovered from Darshan's aide Raghavendra's home. They have also confiscated all of their mobile phones. Their call records tell a story of their own. Victim RenukaSwamy's phone is still missing. There is a rumor going around that they had actually recorded a confession by RenukaSwamy that he was going to unalive himself before they killed him off. They wanted to keep that as a proof when the body was found. The evidence against Darshan in this case is substantial. His car was seen on the CCTV entering and leaving the premises where the murder happened. Allegedly, there might also be a video of him actually assaulting the victim. His call records show he was in touch with all the 12 accused in this case. He is the one common factor connecting them all. His mobile phone was also in the area the whole time they say the assault and murder was taking place. Other than sending messages to Pavitra, the victim has no personal connection to anyone involved in the murder. They have a clear motive, and that directly implicates both Darshan and Pavitra. They are both caught hook, line, and sinker. As of now, total of 17 people have been arrested in connection to the case, including Darshan and Pavitra. But there is still a lot to be done in this case before justice can be delivered. This is not Darshan's first rodeo with the law enforcement though. He is notorious for his aggressive and foul-mouthed behavior. In 2011, he was arrested for beating his wife Vijayalakshmi within an inch of her life. The assault was so severe, she nearly lost her life. But people around him, some influential people from the industry, somehow convinced her to forgive him and tried to mend their differences. And she, of course, did. She retracted her statements to the police and said it was all a big misunderstanding and that her injuries were a result of her falling from the stairs. Unfortunately, now the same wife is standing with him. She has already approached one of the best criminal defense lawyers in the state to fight for her husband. The same husband who's in jail for murdering someone. The same husband who assaulted her and threatened to kill their only child. The same husband who did not support her when his female friend humiliated her. Maybe she has her reasons. I'm no one to judge her without knowing her story and looking at Darshan's track record. Maybe she's also scared for her life. We'll never know. You know the saying, when it rains, it pours? That is true in the actor's case. Now that he's arrested and his case is getting so much attention, people are coming out of the woodworks to tell their own tales of how they were threatened and in some cases assaulted by D-Boss. Producers, directors, one or two of his fellow actors have all come out to say how Darshan treated them badly. He threatened them with violence if they did not agree to his demands. As I said before, there is enough evidence against him and his gang of men. Even if there is no proof that he delivered the fatal blow, There is enough evidence to prove that he did not do anything to stop the torture. One word from him, RenukaSwamy would be with us today. The whole reason RenukaSwamy was there in the first place was because of Darshan and Pavitra. They had so much money and connections to punish him lawfully. They could have used the proof they had against him to get him arrested. But they chose to take the law in their own hand, to be the judge and jury in this case. The saddest part of this whole ordeal is, of course, victim's family. He was married this time last year, and his wife is 5 months pregnant. She's in shock and unable to accept her reality. He also left behind 2 elderly parents and a 90-year-old grandmother. They're all perplexed and cannot comprehend what has become of their life. It is hard to watch their agony without breaking down. They were not even aware that their son was a Darshan fan. He had never showed any special interest in the actor's movies or had never spoken to them about him. Even the messages he sent, they say, are so out of character for him. They find it difficult to believe. His father said if they had given him to the police for his alleged crimes, his family would have accepted that and would have worked hard to reform their son. I'm not denying that what he did, if he did it, was wrong. But did the punishment fit the crime? I don't think so. Members of D-Gang who participated in this incident come from poor families. They themselves are daily wage workers with young kids and elderly parents to support. Now they are looking at a lengthy court battle and long prison sentences. What will become of their families? Who will support them? All because they worshipped a deeply flawed man as God. They hailed everything he did and had blind faith in him. The man they worshipped as their hero turned out to be the worst kind of villain. Social media has its flaws, but we cannot deny that it has also made it possible for a common person like you and me to raise our voice when we see injustice, to share the right information around and make it impossible for people with influence and connections to bury their crime and go on as if they are untouchable. That's the video for today. Please do like, share and subscribe. Leave a kind comment. I will see you in the next one.